Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and another backdoor into Nerdarchy. I don't know what to tell you. So, let's talk about some of the new comic books that are coming out this week. Guys, I gotta start off with Amazing Spider-Man issue number 796. This comic book sold out in most comic book stores before Wednesday even came. That's right, Wednesday's new comic book day. And before those comic books even went on sale on Wednesday, by Tuesday night, the comic books were sold out. How's this possible? Well, pre-orders, all right? Like, hey, I'm buying this comic book. You put one aside for me. And okay, sure, no problem, no problem. And it was all really late pre-orders because we found out very late that this is going to be the first appearance of Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, getting his powers back and putting himself in the Carnage symbiote. So the Red Goblin. I've been talking about this for a while, guys. So you want a comic book that's going to be worth a lot of money? See if you can get your hands on this issue of Spider-Man. 796, Amazing Spider-Man. I'm telling you. Guys, I'm also talking about Doctor Strange Damnation. This is a mini event that is going to expand. We're going to get the return of the Midnight Suns. So like Blade and Ghost Rider and a bunch of other characters like that. You know, the Halloween type characters. Oh yeah. Right now, after the events of the Secret Empire, if you've been watching the Marvel game, you know, at least in season 1, I talked about how Steve Rogers became the evil version of Captain America, and he was going around and he was like killing people and he destroyed, leveled Las Vegas. Well, that actually happened in the comic books, and it's finally been rectified this week. Doctor Strange just got his powers back, and he goes to Las Vegas and he casts some kind of a really cool spell. Who knows what the cost was of casting that spell to begin with? But since it turns out that Las Vegas is the city of sin, when it was destroyed, the city and all of its inhabitants went to hell. So Mephisto, in charge of hell, he went over there and he built a casino. So he figured, let's have some fun in hell. But when Las Vegas was risen, that hotel, the Hotel and Casino Inferno, was also raised. So Mephisto just got an invitation to be on the prime material plane. Yeah, this is why you investigate first. You cast a scrying spell before you start summoning things, right? Anyway, so the idea here is that Doctor Strange now has to figure out, along with the Midnight Suns and a bunch of others, how to banish Mephisto and try and cause as least amount of damage as possible. Yeah, this is messed up. All right, guys. Infinity Countdown, issue number 1. The Infinity Gauntlet is about to be reassembled. They're finding all these different Infinity Stones again. They're calling them Infinity Stones instead of Infinity Gems. I know. But Wolverine proper is back. He's been dead for 4 years now. Well, he's back, and he's got the Infinity Gem of space in his hand, so he can actually teleport whenever he wants. A bunch of other things he can do with it too, but you know, whatever. So he's having fun talking about bamf, 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 even though he's not Nightcrawler, but he's going around killing people. He also did some really mean damage to Loki. Like, yeah, dude's face ain't gonna look the same anymore. So, bunch of things also got finished up, guys. Punisher the Platoon, issue number 6 of 6 by Garth Ennis. This is categorizing the very first Vietnam tour of duty that Frank Castiglione did in Vietnam. This was a glorious book. This was fantastic. I absolutely loved this. Another comic that came out this week is Black Panther Annual, issue number 1. Guys, we're talking about 3 of the most famous historical Black Panther writers. They came back and did a short story in each on their own, completely independent of each other, in this annual, this double-sized annual. It is beautiful. There were parts where I actually felt like I was going to cry because I'm seeing some of these characters I haven't seen in forever. And there's resolution to storylines that never quite got completely tied up before. This was a gloriously written book. Oh my God, this was fantastic. I'm so happy that this book was written. It answered a couple of questions that I didn't even know needed answering. Batman Sins of the Father is based on the Telltale video game series that you may have on your mobile device. This actually, instead of actually playing the game and paying an arm and a leg for all of the chapters, you just read the comic books here. I go through issue number 1. On top of that, there's also Batman and Wonder Woman, Brave and the Bold, issue number 1 of, I imagine there's going to be at least 6 of these. This delves heavily into a forgotten mythology, the mythology of the Irish. Now, guys, I understand talking to a whole bunch of Dungeons & Dragons fans. I myself, Dungeons & Dragons fan, but there's a lot more to Irish mythology than just what you know from Dungeons & Dragons. Case in point, if you see a Fomori in the Dungeons & Dragons world, kill it! Kill it with fire, right? It's dangerous. Giant kin type thing. Actually fairykin, but it's still a giant. You go and you kill it, right? Chaotic evil. No, not here. The Fomori are very different. And we're talking about like the Seelie, the Unseelie court. We're talking about Tirnanog. We're talking about Serenos. We're talking about amazing places, amazing characters, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty cool story to boot. So I'm definitely enjoying this. If you don't have your feet firmly grounded in Irish mythology, it may be a little confusing, but that's one of the reasons why you check out Comic Book University's reviews, because I'll help you along. All right, guys, all that being said, I do believe that I talked a little bit about gadgeteering over in my on Comic Book University, very specifically my Marvel Superheroes FASERIP games, the MSH RPG Advanced Edition FASERIP rules. So I talked a little bit about gadgeteering there. I did last week also, but this was more of an introduction. Here I get a little more into it and I go into exasperating details so you really understand how to start making your own devices. You might have a rat, a dog, a bird, that could be either an owl or you know what I'm talking about. The falcon and the what is the other thing? Oh my God, you guys have so many animals. What's the other one I'm missing? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. All right, and all of these freaking animals. Oh, there might be possums, but there's definitely a raccoon. Okay, so with all these animals out there building your own devices, it would help if you actually knew how to build the devices. So go and check out the explanation for gadgeteering over there. I try to make it fun. Lots of visuals, all that good stuff. In fact, here's a sample now. So we've got good 10, and then we've got a +2 because of the body being equal, and a +1 because of the control. So good goes up to excellent, goes up to remarkable, goes up one more, the 2 columns just there, and then the one more because of typical, so we've got incredible. But the cost to buy a car, a sedan, a 4-door sedan, is remarkable. So again, it is incredible to make it. It is remarkable to buy it. This is because they are mass producing and you are not. If you are mass producing, perhaps you can get a discount on the materials. Perhaps you can do what most businesses do and pay people at the absolute lowest rank, negotiable, or take your product overseas, right, where they don't have union labor laws, and you can literally say, no, you're going to work in a sweatshop. You should definitely lose karma for that. But this is economics. This is our economic system. Now, let's say you want to do something like make something completely different. Let's say you want to make a rocket-powered skateboard. Okay? Guys, I've also been on a little bit of a Native American kick. I actually have a little Cherokee blood in me myself, just not a lot at all, but it still exists. I still feel it. It still burns. And the idea here is that I decided to make a couple of Native American superhero explained in a minute. So the first one I did was Black Crow. Yes, you saw him in the Marvel FASERIP game twice now that I've been doing, Jesse Black Crow. Well, I decided to actually make him explained in a minute because I felt like explaining the story of of SpiderMan versus the Puma, and Black Crow gets involved in it. And speaking of the Puma, I also did the Puma explained in a minute because he's a Native American character, Thomas Fireheart. So, yeah, you get to find out a little bit about these 2 Navajo types. What do you call it? Both from various areas in the West. So we got actually Arizona and New Mexico. But go ahead and check these guys out. Pretty good. I also did a spotlight on story 4, those specific 3 issues. And it's a fun story. It's a beautiful story. I loved it. I loved it. And in and of itself, I think that it's an amazing idea for an actual superhero or otherwise Dungeons & Dragons style game. It's a great one-shot at the very least to replicate that story. So consider checking it out. Add a little something to your game. Enjoy. In the meantime, guys, that is going to be it for me. I think I have another week until, yep, that's right. I've got it in my schedule to take over Nerdarchy once again. For now, you can have your channel back. I'm good. I'm going to go back to mine. All right, guys. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Cue the beats.